Hello and welcome to episode 125 of Daryl Show Your Work. So continuing with the overall theme of NetCat, in this video I'll be going over how to gain remote access to a target system using a bind shell. All right, so since we will be compromising the system here, I'm going to give my usual disclaimer in saying that this is for research. Ethical and educational purposes only. Any sort of malicious actions that may directly or indirectly come from someone watching this video, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right, so just to give a high level definition of what a bind shell is, and I've used this a couple of times in my prior videos. It's a type of remote shell where an attacker can connect directly into a listener on the target system, allowing for the execution of commands on it. So it's going to require a listener in order for me to gain access to the target system. So as an example of this, and I'm gonna play out this scenario. So a NetCat listener has to be must be connected on the target system in order for me, the attacker, to execute the shell on their system. All right, so they have to have that listener going on that system for me to connect and to execute that shell for me to be able then to run remote commands on that target system. And I'm going to be demonstrating exactly what that looks like using this setup here. All right, so same as my prior video, I have an attacker machine and a target machine here. Okay, so starting off, let me go back here. All right, so I've done some discovery here prior to taping, and I can tell you that our target's located at 10.3.18 .220. Let me move this over here today. Come on. All right, just some days it moves over here quickly. Other days I kind of have to struggle with it. So I just don't want this to be in the way of while I'm recording here. Okay, that should do it. All right, so this is where our target host is located. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm actually going to start kind of like in the middle of where I did in my prior interview, and I'm going to start off by going to the root directory of, not the root directory, excuse me, of the directory of where that nc.exe file, executable file is located. And I'm gonna be running through the same process of transferring that over to our Windows-based target in order to get that running on their end. All right, so I'm gonna say, since it's Python based, I'm gonna say Python -m and then simple HTTP server, and I want that to run on port 80. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Before that, I forgot I got to change directories. Hold on. All right, so actually I have to change directories to where that is right after I just got done saying it. All right, so that's going to be in user share windows dash binaries. All right. All right, now that we're there, now let's get that Python based web server going. All right, again, I want that running on port 80. So I'm hosting basically, I'm hosting on port 80 here, all the files within this particular directory, this Windows binaries directory. All right. So I'm gonna move over to the target machine. So unlike I did in my previous video where I used a cert utility to download that nc.exe file, this time I'm gonna go through a web browser and show what it looks like to do it through there. 'Cause I told you there's more than one way to be able to get that file on this on our target machine. So let's say that some social engineering was done and I somehow tricked our target into going to going to my machine. Actually, before I could do that, I need to know the IP address. I'm gonna open up another terminal here. Let's do an ifconfig to get that. All right, so since I am running on interface Ethernet 1, my IP address is 10.10.40.6. So let's copy that, and I'm going to add it here to mousepad. All right, so anytime I need to bring that back to memory, I could just jump back there. All right, so now going to the target machine, I'm going to visit that address. So this should now be accessible now from the target since I'm hosting it on port 80. All right, so let's hit enter and bam. All right, so here's the directory. All right, so we can see that nc.exe a file here that's being hosted on my simple HTTP web server. So I'm gonna click that. All right, now I'm gonna save the file. All right, now to access that file, I'm gonna go to the start menu here and go to search and open up the command prompt window. It's a cmd. All right, so let's make this a little bigger here just so everyone watching can fully see what I'm doing. All right, let's see. Console is here. All right, we're gonna make that, bring it up to, let's bring it up to 24. Okay, all right, nice big size for us. All right, so now that I'm here, I'm gonna switch to the downloads directory because that's where this should have landed. So CD downloads. All right, and let's list out. Just make sure it's there. I'm gonna say dir. All right, so we can see that it's there. All right. So now that we can see that it's there, what I could do now is I'm gonna hold on. First thing I need to do, let's go back and let's terminate this. Control C terminates that. Well, hold on, wrong window here. There we go. All right, we can see the get commands of where on the target machine I went and downloaded that file here from here where I said get nc.exe. We can see where that was downloaded to our target machine. So I'm gonna hit Control C. All right, now going back to the target machine. Now I need to I'm from here. This is where I'm going to set up my listener. So I need to recopy actually the target's IP address here, and I'm going to set up a listener on this end. Say nc.exe. All right, so we're going to say ignore DNS resolution, give us verbose information, and then we want to set up in listener mode, and then we want to specify the port. All right, which is going to be we're going to listen on port 1234. All right, and then now, okay, since we're talking about setting up a bind shell, all right, this next step is really important. All right, so I'm gonna say -e cmd .exe. All right. So what this is going to do is this is going to create a bind shell that executes the command prompt executable upon a successful execution excuse me, a successful connection to this target. All right. So basically, every time that I connect as the attacker connect to this machine, it's allowing me then to it's allowing the opening of a command prompt on the Linux machine, and we're going to see that. All right, and a lot of this is happening on the back end when we're using a lot of those automated exploitation um, modules within the Metasploit framework. But again, I'm showing us how we can use different tools outside of Metasploit framework to achieve some of the same results. All right, so let's get that listener going. All right, so if I jump back to the attacker machine here, all right, now I want to make the connection. So I'm going to say nc dot N for ignore DNS resolution, V for verbose, and now I'm going to ask for let's see, I want to give it the IP address of where I want to connect to. All right, so I want to connect to the attacker machine there. Let's put some space there. All right, and I want to do that at excuse me, the target machine. Excuse me, port 1234. All right, and let's connect. Let's see what happens. Bam. All right. Now we can see now I have a Windows prompt, a command prompt session here, and we can see Windows version. So it confirms that I have my Windows session here, and we can just confirm, do a few command Windows-based commands here, just to make sure that everything's working the way it should. So I'm gonna say whoami, which is a Windows command, and we can see that I'm an administrator, which is great. And I'm gonna say dir just to make sure I can see what's in the downloads directory. All right, and we can see that nc.exe file that that was downloaded there is there. So that proves that I am actually have made a successful connection to this target host. All right, via that bind shell, which enabled me to use a command prompt upon successful connection. And we could do the reverse of this. So I'm going to show the reverse of this. And what the reverse is going to achieve is basically I'm going to set it up to where I'm going to create a listener here on the Linux machine, and I'm going to attempt to, because this is because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to attempt to set up a bash shell session on the Windows machine upon a successful connection. All right, um, so let's get that going. All right, so this first thing I need to do, I need to terminate this connection here. All right, and so let's get that listener going on here on the attacker end, on the Linux based attacker. So I'm gonna say nc dot nvlp, same options using one, and we're going to still listen on port 1234. Now, in this time, instead of putting that dash e cmd.exe, I'm gonna put dash c. All right, and then I'm gonna say bin bash. All right, and that achieves the same thing. Basically, it's telling NetCat that every time there's a successful connection here, allow the connector to establish a bash session here to my local machine. All right, so that listener's going. So let's jump back over here to the target, and let's try to make a connection. So I'm gonna say nc.exe. All right, and then just simply nv. All right, then let's see. Let's go get that IP address again. Uh, let me see, what is my IP address? Here it is. All right, so we're gonna. Well, I could have copied that straight from there. All right. So anyway, let's paste that on here. There we go. All right. So this is going to, again, this is going to make the connection to our Linux-based target. Let's hit enter. No port. Oh, I had to specify the port. Duh. Okay. So all right. So after this, let me put 1234. All right. So it looks like that's open, but I didn't get my bash session. So let's see. I'm gonna do a list command just to make sure I'm in. I'm in. So if I try to, let me try to manually establish one by say bin bash dash I. No, nothing. Well, I'm not sure. Like I said, it's real sometimes, but I could do another command here to see who I'm logged in as. All right, so we can see I'm logged in as root. All right, so there's my UID, root, group ID, groups, root. Okay, so we can see that just like I had administrator privileges when logging in over here on this Windows Server based target. When I did a reverse, I was able to connect to the root account on the Linux-based server. All right, so this is just an example of how a bind shell works and how we can utilize the NetCat tool to use bind shells in order to make those remote connections to our targets, and then start executing commands to do whatever it is we entered into that system to do. All right, so pretty simple stuff. My next video, I'm going to be covering reverse shells and how it is that we can show the difference of how it is that we can achieve the same results, but a different method using reverse shells and discussing just the differences there. But anyway, until then, please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and God bless.